This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with Cork's Stephen Cairns. How are you, mate?
How's it going? Not too bad. Yourself?
All is good. It's a Saturday. It's the Euros have started there as well, so I guess we've something other than boxing to watch on the TV now, which is all good.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously yourself, obviously probably in better spirits than you probably have been. Made your debut last week in Villarreal, so you can now call yourself a pro boxer.
Yeah, fucking delighted. Just delighted to get it, to finally get it out of the way. It's been a long time coming.
It has, and like it obviously I know with COVID, it sort of don't really touch on it too much because it's affected everybody. But obviously COVID delayed your debut by what, about 15, 16 months. So I think you were supposed to make your debut last February.
Yeah, last February I was meant to make my debut. I signed in December. Was meant to be fighting in February. More than ready, and then of course everything went into lockdown again. So had to push it back, and finally got my date for June 5th.
And like, I guess obviously, being a teenager and stuff, you're probably one of the youngest sort of as a pro boxer now, but sort of when it's getting delayed and stuff like that, I guess sometimes, there's other ones out there that's been waiting for ages. I think there's one up north here, Rudy Farrell. It's been about 3 years and still hasn't made his debut, but when you're so young and you've turned over and you want to make your debut, it's like Christmas Day, it's like, let's just see what's happening. So how did you sort of keep yourself positive sort of through it all?
Do you know what? To be honest, I never leave the gym. I'm always in the gym. I'm always training because I can see. I like to look ahead. I like to
Yes, when you're so young, and you're well established amateur and things and stuff like that as well. So you've always been used to fighting. So I guess sometimes probably the rest done you a bit of good as well.
Yeah, 100%. I was boxing since I'm 7, and I don't think I took a break for any summers or anything. I was always training throughout the seasons, and it was a bit different now, not fighting in the nationals, and obviously I'm usually training and fighting all the time, and then not to be fighting is kind of weird.
So pretty much I think you're 18, you turn 19 in 10 days time, I think, is that whatever right there. There's my stalker approach coming out.
What's that?
I was gonna say that's the sort of stalker approach. They sort of know the sort of age and things, but like over 11 years now boxing, probably there's people that's had an 11-year career. I think Carl Frampton probably from the time you started boxing, you made your pro debut, he was still there sort of thing. So 11 years is probably a short time in boxing, but when you think of it, I guess with it summers and everything else, it keeps you going. The bad things in life, obviously, as a teenager, it's falling into the wrong crowds, going drinking and everything else. So I guess by staying boxing, staying active, it keeps you away from sort of the bad things you could sort of get mixed up in.
Yeah, 100%. It keeps you out of trouble, and keeps you humble.
And what sort of get you into boxing then at the age of 7? Was there any particular reason, or was it, I remember when I was young, my mum wanted me to go and do karate just for self-defense. Didn't like it at all. Sometimes it's like parents go, you need to be able to learn to defend yourself, and things like that. Was there any particular reason got you into boxing?
To be honest, I used to love sports, and I used to be playing football all the time. But to be honest, I was very bad at football now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was very good friends with Spike O'Sullivan, and he was saying, why don't you come down to the gym and bring him down? And so it kind of started from there. He invited us down, started training. At the start, obviously, I wasn't too concentrating on the training. I was kind of messing a little bit and stuff. And my dad said to me, he goes, look, I'm not going to bring you down anymore. I'm going to keep messing. Because if you want to come down and you want to be serious about it, I'll bring you down every day. So from then on, I just said, okay, this is what I want to do.
And what a person he's sort of been in the gym with, Spike O'Sullivan. Like, funny, I had Thomas Carty on Instagram Live last night, and I was sort of saying, Spike's one of these people who's always having a laugh and a joke. And I think I sort of like I always think of Spike and think of all his tweets he's always saying, about the mother-in-law and things like that. Like it must be such, I'm not sure how much you train and stuff with him now, but it must be such a relief to know when you're training, you can have a good laugh there as well.
Yeah, he's good. He's good old crack. He's always trying to wind you up or do some kind of messing.
And I guess obviously probably the most thing that everybody remembers him for is the Chris Eubank fight where I'm obviously get in for the kiss.
Yeah,
just,
Jesus.
just to wind him up. Although he probably just wanted to give him a kiss.
Yeah, he's not a bad looking man, is he?
Definitely is the moustache on point as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to grow one, but it's not coming yet. I don't know.
I'm sure Spike will give you some lessons in that.
Yeah, some growing cream or something.
It definitely helps somewhere. But I guess Spike's got obviously a fantastic following and on social media and everything else like that. I guess it's somebody good to learn from because Spike obviously built himself a good career sort of from attending fighting in matchroom shows and stuff like that. So somebody good to learn from. If you want to reach the top in the sport.
100%, yeah. I look up to him because what he's done, he's kind of after laying out the. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, still got you.
He's after laying out the blueprint for all Irish fighters to succeed in the game. He's fought in the biggest shows in the world, fought against world champions. So that's where you want to be. Like you want to be up there. You want to be on them big nights. So that's what it's about.
Definitely is, and I'm sure obviously when I think Spike's 36 now, so I'm not sure how long, as I say, how much is left in the old dog yet. So I'm guessing when he sort of hangs him up as well, he'll still sort of stay as to sort of help, and obviously a fellow Cork man as well. He'll stay around to sort of guide and help him in the way he can.
Yeah, 100%. He'll always be part of my team and in my career.
Definitely, and I guess it can open doors for you as well and getting you fights in certain places as well. Like I've listed down your amateur accomplishments. It's quite a list. Talk us through obviously what you've done as an amateur.
Well, I'm a 6-time county champion, 6-time Munster champion, 7-time national champion, European silver medalist, and 2-time international gold medalist.
Quite a feat, and I guess it's like I guess when sometimes people see you turning pro at 18, sometimes they go, why did you turn pro at that age? Was there any particular reason why you turned pro so young, or was it just that you just had the bug? You always wanted to turn pro.
Yeah. Obviously, growing up watching Floyd Mayweather, that's who you wanted to be like. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I was like, my style was always suited to the pros, and everyone in Irish boxing would know that. That I was always suited to the pros. So it's like I was trying to turn pro when I was younger, but obviously it wasn't the right time and stuff. But now seems to be the perfect time, and I'm pretty comfortable in the ring.
And what a role model they sort of have, for Floyd Mayweather. He's been like 44 years of age and he's still in exhibitions and things like that. But like Floyd obviously had sort of two-part to his career. Obviously in the earlier weights, he was flashy, he's obviously knocking people out. And then the second stage of his career, obviously I think he'd damaged his hands and stuff like that, but it was more of defensive masterclasses. So what a boxer to learn from.
100%. You could sit down and watch that man all day long and learn new things.
And I guess obviously when we look at probably Canelo now, Canelo's probably come on after fighting Floyd. They always said when you fight Floyd, your next fight, you're going to have many people watching and things like that. But like Canelo's a totally different fighter now from whenever he fought Floyd, and how good he is. So I guess the more you study Floyd, the better you're going to be.
Yeah, 100%. Can you imagine being in the ring with him and learning from him? Saying, Jesus Christ, how's he hit me with that? Let me learn how to do that. So you won't get better. That's how you learn. Being in the ring, this way we spar. We try to spar the best fighters we can, so we can learn from them. It's what it's about.
Definitely, and I'm sure at some stage in the future, maybe Floyd Mayweather will be saying, that young guy grew up sort of idolizing me, and there he's ringside watching you. What a dream that would be.
Oh, stop it.
But
100%.
I'm sure it's like 18 million quid watches would probably blind you from ringside. um, you obviously signed with Dave Caldwell, obviously management wise. How did that sort of come about with Dave? Was there any sort of offers there, or was it just Dave looked at the good choice to go with?
I had a couple of offers on the table, um, but from knowing and watching Dave with Tony Bellew and these other fighters, I knew that he was the right man for the job. He has the experience and he's a real boxing man.
He definitely is, and obviously, you look back probably at stages. I think it was David Hay probably with him at stages probably as well. I think Dave Caldwell
Yeah,
was around nearly everybody sort of at stage in boxing, and
it's probably done every boxer in the UK's corner at some stage.
definitely
George
isn't he?
Groves, everyone.
And I guess when he does his pundit work and stuff as well, people can hear the philosophy behind how he trains fighters and stuff as well. So I guess it's a good man to sort of have in your corner, and with certain promoters and stuff as well, it can put your eye in there with them sort of as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And obviously, how crucial is it then keeping your dad in your corner?
Yeah, like my dad's been with me since I'm 7 years of age. So wherever I go, he's always going to be in my corner. That was always the deal. The he knows me the best. He knows me the best out of any man on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
How to get the best out of me, and he just knows me inside and out.
And I guess obviously it's good as well because it'll save you from making bad decisions because your dad will always look to your best interests, not just within the ring, but making sure you do everything right outside the ring.
Yeah, 100%.
Because obviously boxing can be a brutal sport in so many different ways, and it's making sure that somebody's not pulling the wool over your eyes and certain deals and stuff like that as well. Your dad will probably go through it, like a sergeant major would in the army with a fine tooth comb, sort of making sure everything's right exactly how it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, obviously, looking at your debut then last week, I guess when you sort of signed pro, you probably guess, we were looking at sort of certain venues, crowds, and everything else like that. Did it sort of feel different? I guess in some ways probably might have helped, make your debut in Villarreal away from home. Not a lot of people there. Did it sort of help in that respect and be able to listen to your corner? Because I guess, 18 years of age, making your debut, you just want to go in there and take heads off.
Yeah. So I could, there could be 50,000 people screaming, and I'd be able to hear my corner's voice out of all them people. It's drilled into my head from training.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it would have made much of a difference where I was. The job still would have got done.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously, looking at the opponent you had, Rafael Castillo, like for somebody making their debut is probably different. Because obviously his experience, like he's fought Callum Bradley, Feargal McCrory, James Tennyson, and Eric Donovan, and he's never been stopped by any of them. So I guess you knew you were going to have a good solid 4-rounder, but it wasn't always the opponent you were supposed to face.
Yeah, originally I was meant to be fighting a guy called Jesus Ruiz, Campbell Hatton's debut opponent.
Mm-hmm.
A week before the fight, we got a call saying that he's not making weight, that he's pulling out of the fight. So we had to find a late replacement, and the only man available was Rafael Castillo. So we knew going into the fight that he was very experienced and he was very tough. But I know what I'm capable of, and we knew we could go and get the win. Even the knockout it nearly came, but he was very tough.
Would you like, I guess sometimes, it's knockouts sort of sometimes get you noticing things like that, but was it, I know obviously I think with streaming issues from being able to watch the fight last week, but obviously I heard good reports back from Connor and obviously from Vlad, but were you sort of always looking, as if they say head hunting, sort of looking for it, or did it not phase you sort of going 4 rounds is good valuable rounds at this stage?
I was though obviously going into the fight, you're like, okay, I want to knock him out in the first round. But after the fight, I was actually very happy to get the rounds in, because it's just more experience. If I knock him out in the first round, what have I gained? Absolutely nothing. So going in there, getting the 4 rounds in a very hot country, different settings, no headgears, no vests. It was great. It was good, great experience.
Particularly, 16 months sort of waiting to make your debut, and you blow somebody out in a minute, you're sort of going, well, that wasn't worth it. It was like an anticlimax of sort of being excited for something and just going, what's going on? Get me back in. There's somebody else in the changing rooms that can go again. So the four rounds will do you the world of good. And they say, like sometimes people like Rafael Castillo, probably when they look at records, when they fight somebody, they probably look at it and they go, he's not of a certain standard, but he chose the life he sort of has. They help, the likes of yourself, in the ring, and it's not too many people that'll blow him away. So it's 4 good rounds and a good opponent to have.
100%, yeah, great opponent to have on the record.
I'm sure, obviously, in years to come, he'll probably say, and I remember it's Stephen Cairns' debut when you're up there in the bright lights.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm guessing, obviously, from what I sort of gauge from your posts and things like that, I'm guessing super featherweight's going to be the weight you're going to campaign at.
Yeah, I'm going to campaign at super featherweight.
And you're looking at gaining your British license as well, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of getting it. Obviously, because of COVID over in England, it's been very hard to get an interview with the British Boxing Board of Control. But with everything opening up again, I should be able to get it soon enough.
And is there any sort of reason behind that? I guess is it probably, with Dave Caldwell managing you, I guess, with a British license, it will obviously easier to get on a lot more shows.
Yeah, for Dave to be my manager, I have to have a British license. So that's the route I must go down.
Right, fantastic. And I guess, when you have a British license, it means you can pretty much box anywhere in the world, with that license, because they're so strict on who they give it to and things like that as well. I actually seen Willie Hayden, obviously, away to his the other week, and it looked like he was going to court with a suit and stuff on. They must grill you a load of questions and things like an interview. So I'm sure when we see the day you're standing in a suit, we'll know where you're going to.
Yeah.
And how sort of active are you looking to be?
I'm trying to be as active as I can. I'll fight every week if I can. So, like, I'm always ready. I'm always in the gym.
And it's one time, if you're not sparring someone in the gym and you're getting a fight, at a young age, it's all about staying active and getting your name out there. And it's, I guess, with COVID sort of relaxing now, there's going to be more shows. You have the Fight Zone shows in Sheffield. You've obviously the Zone shows where they Hearn, it'll still go in the UK. You've then Sky Sports going to involve a lot more shows. So probably for you yourself, it's probably the best time to turn pro, because there's going to be so many opportunities to get fighting. You could probably fight every week if you wanted to.
Probably can, yeah. With everything, obviously with there not being as many shows during COVID, there's going to be a hell of a lot more than usual. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And how are you sort of, I'm guessing your sort of dad and Dave and stuff like that's been sort of advising you on sort of social media, social media at times, particularly around boxing and sport in general, can be a vicious place at times. But I'm guessing you're sort of prepared to know that people's either going to like you or they're going to hate you, or people's not even going to know who you are or where you've been, but they'll still have an opinion.
Yeah, you're going to get it. Like, you have to be prepared for it. It is what it is. Everyone gets in there.
And like, I know that the big thing nowadays is sort of selling yourself on social media more so than anything. It's getting a following sometimes. Like, I think the Americans do it with the flashy skills in the gym. Have you sort of anything in mind to sort of, rather than calling people out or things like that, is there anything you'll sort of prepare to sort of do to sort of get a big drive on social media?
I'm just going to leave my boxing, do the talking. Because at the end of the day, it's the fight game, and real boxing fans will love my boxing.
Definitely, and you seem to be an all action sort of fighter as well. You just want to go in and do your best, so it'll not take long.
Every punch, I'm trying to take that guy's head off. That's what the people want to see, isn't it?
Definitely is. It's the knockouts people want to see, and they want to see people being vicious and just going to work. Like Stevie and R. McKenna are probably two other ones that are good for it as well. They just want to take your head off every punch.
Yeah, 100%. That's just what you have to do, isn't it?
It is, and definitely Irish fighters seem to have a different, they always seem to say an Irish fighter seems to have something different about them, different makeup, whether it's the potatoes we eat or whatever, but they're just vicious. And I guess when somebody sees an opponent and go, he's Irish, crikey, I'm in for it,
Yeah.
So they're playing the mind games. Have you any ideas sort of when you're going to be next out?
I've got a couple of dates. In my head. I've been talking with Dave and I've been talking with my dad, and we're just finalising a date now. And if that goes ahead, it won't be long.
Fantastic. And I guess with still with sort of COVID and things like that in places as well, is making sure that you're sort of not jumping to, booking flights and things like that, because you could end up losing money on flights and everything else. So it's a sort of keeping a hold, I guess, of fighting you sometimes and making sure everything's going to be right for it.
Yeah.
And then sort of as we finally do with obviously anybody we bring on, we sort of give you an opportunity, you as a fighter obviously have to rely on sponsorship and things like that to obviously progress your career. Is there any sponsors or any people you'd like to thank for obviously where it's got to you at this point so far?
Yeah, 100%. I have Max Life Fitness gym in Cork, newly opened, fantastic gym. I have Downtown Chipper in Mallow. I have Conal Thomas. I have Box Raw. I also have Elite Gains.
Fantastic. And obviously
Thanks.
You're always open up to more sponsorship as well. So if there's obviously any more sponsors looking to get involved, probably now's the right time to do so.
Yeah, 100%. Just you can just text me on Instagram, or my email address is on Instagram, and just hit me up.
Definitely. Well, Stephen, listen, obviously, we'll thank you very much for obviously taking time out of your Saturday to have a chat with us. We'll obviously look forward to you getting some more fight news, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon.
100%. Thanks very much.